It's actually the jump mechanic. So at the moment, the player, when he first starts the game, they don't have access to jump. And this is actually tied into one of the puzzles in the game. So I'll skip the cutscene. Okay, so when the player moves forward, if they haven't read the signs and looked for the cutscene or ignored it, they'll probably run into these spikes, which will stop you moving ahead. Obviously, you can't jump over them. What the player has to do is find the totems. Just using a simple line trace with an interaction. So when line trace hits an object, it will set the mesh to not visible, and it will then use there's a boolean in there. No, it's not. Sorry, that's wrong. Yes, it is boolean. So it's integer math. So every time you pick up a totem, it'll increment the key count, which is the boolean. The key is the boolean by 1. If keys equal 2, when you place it on this podium here by pressing E on interaction, it will then set has key boolean to true, which will then link back to the player character and set the has key to true, which will then enable double jump, which means you can get over this section. The way this bit is done is so the interaction. So when you shoot a line trace, if it hits, it makes a static mesh disappear, and you'll set it to has key. You'll go to this podium, tap it down on that code podium, and then this podium, this is the actual podium is the part that talks to the example character, which is the character what I named the character in here. So that will talk to the character, and then that will set that boolean in the podium. So this bit will set the player character boolean to true. These ones talk to this one to say, oh yeah, he has picked this one up by setting has key to true, and that one is a separate has key from the one in the example. So yeah, that is the jump mechanic. The next one I'll quickly show you, since it pretty much runs on this. Whoops.
We return. You healed us.
So the next part you'll see this mechanic is the totems. It's a bit different. Instead of finding them, you have to choose the right one. If you do get too close to them, the spikes will shoot up. I did want to have it so you would hit E, which will set the interaction. If you got the 1 marks, the spikes would shoot up with you, but I ran out of time. So yeah, same interaction here. So press E, which sets off your interaction, which is a line trace, and whatever it hits, you'll then call the custom event to make the static mesh disappear, or in the podium's case, reappear, like so. So this mechanic here will set dash, so that's just changing when you hit F. It's just a velocity change, so it pushes the character past the gates. The gates, just to go through these quickly, since we're here, and I'll stop this video then because it's this section pretty much done. So these gates, there's a collision box right in front of them. As you walk up to the collision box, it will then set it's a timeline, and then it will have it's got a rotate alert, which will then rotate the gate 90 degrees in towards, so the player has to pretty much dash. So yeah, that is those mechanics there. A few issues I have had with the... Oh, I can just jimmy back this way. A few issues I have had is mostly with the spikes. So quickly come back down here. So with these spikes, what they used to do, they don't anymore, because I think we put a do once in there. Yeah, we put a do once in there. Or do we have it? Yeah, we put a do once in there, just reset the timeline. So as you move forward, like so, if you kept just kind of doing this, instead of resetting and going up, you'll keep going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. So we managed to fix that by putting a do once in there. And yeah, so that is the sprinting mechanic and the dash mechanic in 1, and also those gates.